Hey guys, this is Nikki.
This is Sam.
Welcome back to So What? What's Next?
I spent the bag on the bundle. Turn around and take a flip and make it double. Listen, baby, with me you ain't never gotta struggle. I'm in the game 650, catch a triple double. Watch it tumble, tumble, watch it tumble. Tumbling, tumbling, tumbling. This is coming and keep on tumbling. Watch it tumble, tumble, watch it tumble. Tumbling, tumbling, tumbling. This is coming and keep on tumbling.
Hey guys, we're back for another episode of So What? What's Next? Hey Sam, how are you?
I am great. How are you doing?
I'm well. How was your weekend?
My weekend was productive on the small business side. Very
Let's
productive.
go.
Added a few clients. Doing good.
Let's
Um,
go.
Personally, on the football side, I am doing horrible. I am not in a good place. I'm not in a good space, and I'm just tired, Nikki. I'm tired. How are you
You're
feeling though?
over it. You're over it.
I want to end it. I want the pain to stop.
Yeah, I totally get it. This was the first weekend where I was home. So I was happy to still be in my city, to still be home, and actually sleeping in my bed.
Nice.
That's always a plus. Um, I will say that football was not too nice to me either. It was good to me, but it wasn't great to me, if that makes sense,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like, the debacle of a game on Saturday with Florida State losing to Jacksonville State.
That'll hurt
Just
your
really
feelings. That'll hurt your
that
feelings.
that that kind of shifted some energy because we were hosting the watch party for the Atlanta Alumni Association for Atlanta Seminole Club, and we were there, we were having a good time, and everything was good, and then the last 11 seconds of the fourth quarter just went awry, and that was one thing. And then of course my Dolphins beat the Patriots on Sunday, so that was the good part of the weekend. I was able to catch my Fins take it to the Patriots, because we don't get too many times to say that. It was one of those things where you kind of relish in it, only
Right.
because Tom Brady has literally kept us on the sidelines for so long.
Yes, he's 20
So
plus years.
whenever we beat New England, we have to
Celebrate.
celebrate that. But
But the
what were some of
Dolphins,
your takes?
the
Oh, go
Dolphins
ahead.
going. I said the Dolphins are going in the right direction. Though I mean, it's just right now y'all just trying to find out can Tua manage the game good enough for y'all to actually make the playoffs this year, right? I think that's the
I would love to be a fly on the wall in that locker room, outside of the obvious reasons. But for them to not even make Tua a captain, like the team did not even vote to make Tua captain this year. I'm like, what is going on in that locker room, right?
Mhm.
Because the guys are saying all the right things on camera. They're saying all the right things to the reporters, but those quote unquote sources,
Right.
the offline sources and the off the record sources, are definitely letting it be known that the locker room is not all the way there with Tua, and I don't know if that's coming from the feeling from the coaches, or they just not feeling him, or his inability to perform at a high level. I don't know what it is, because I think we even discussed on the pod where in one practice Tua have 5 touchdowns, and then tomorrow he'll have 5 turnovers, right?
Yeah. Well,
So
guys, game recognized game, man, and if you ain't got game, people gon' it's gonna be some whispers, man. It's gonna be some whispers. But I don't know.
yeah.
I don't know. I think it's tough though, because I don't even know who y'all backup quarterback is. I think y'all all in on Tua, right?
So we do have a backup quarterback, and the honest, I can't even tell you who he is, because we are literally all in on Tua.
Yeah.
But needless to say, um, we'll see how that goes. But what was your feeling of the, I guess, the opening weekend for NFL as well as college football? We talked about it last week, but were any of our takes any good?
Man, I think I had a pretty good take on Oregon. I'm feeling good about my Oregon pick so far. I'm feeling pretty good about my Oregon pick. I feel like I kind of backpedaled into it though, to be honest with you. Um, because I did not think it was going to beat Ohio State. But
I did not have Oregon beating Ohio State. I had it as a close game, but definitely not beating them.
yeah, once they said Thibodeau was gonna miss the game, and he was out like 4 or 5 starters. I was like, no way they beat Ohio State. But
Right.
they made it happen. I feel good about my Georgia pick. I feel really good about my Georgia pick right now. I'm feeling
I
good
know
about
you
that pick.
do. I know you do. No, you do.
Yeah, so that's my big thing. Of course, I'm a little. Florida State went from great quality losses to one of the worst losses in school history.
A quality L. I promise you, I had not seen so much focus on that in my life until last season. I'm like, really quality L's.
Well, you know what it is though. Like as a fan base, we want some type of signs that we're coming back. We want any type of sign that says we're coming back, and we're grasping at
Any
straws.
positive vibes,
Yeah,
like
we're grasping at straws right now. I mean, we got a coach that's only
right.
won 3 games in a year and a half, so
And I'll be honest. I think I shared this with you as well. Like I understand the progress that we made, and we showed up in a Notre Dame game, but Notre Dame was not the Notre Dame of the past. Like they're
yeah,
not that good. Like they struggled this weekend. So even though we played them, and we unfortunately Florida State plays to the level of their competition, right?
yeah,
Like instead of playing our game or being able to be put in good situations to pass protect or to prevent the long pass or the touchdown,
right.
we play to keep it close. Apparently, which is what apparently worse than playing not to lose. When
Right.
we really need to be going out there playing to win.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's going on there, but
It
we'll jump
feels a
on
little
Listen Up.
hopeless. It feels a little
It
hopeless.
it does, and I would tell everybody to tune into the Listen Up podcast as well to get your in-depth breakdown analysis of all things Florida State football, hosted by Sam Moore and of course by Brandon. But check out Listen Up podcast if you haven't already. Jump to the NFL. What's going on in the NFL? How was that?
Man, I'm feeling I'm hurting too because my Jags, Urban Meyer looked like he was way over his head, over his skis. That really surprised me a little bit because I mean he's been a great coach in college, and I thought he could translate pretty well. It's only one game, but man, they look like a clown show. They really like a clown show. I mean, they got too many guys in the huddle, not enough guys in the huddle. I mean, you got your quarterback throwing 51 times when you got a good running back. They just seem like scheme wise, they don't know what they want to do defensively. They are terrible, which I'm not surprised they're terrible on defense. I mean, you did get rid of a Hall of Fame cornerback and a couple of really good defensive players.
Yes, they definitely depleted the defense. Correct. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah. And that goes back to the media, right? Like the media telling people that it's okay that these great players leaving because they had bad attitudes, right?
Right. Culture.
Yeah, culture, locker room, all this stuff that don't actually put points on the board. Players do that. So we don't have players right now on defense, so we're terrible. What did surprise me though was Lamar Jackson and Ravens lost last night.
The Fighting Lamar Jacksons lost last night and had multiple times to win.
Yeah.
And I am a huge LJ fan. I love Lamar Jackson. Shout out to 561. Definitely a huge fan, and I am beside myself because I stayed up last night to actually watch that game, and that was shocking.
Yeah, that was a little shock when I woke up this morning. Like, oh, so that happened last night, and I mean, they got offensive line troubles, so that could be. I think that's something to look at going forward because I did pick the Chargers to make a step forward, so that means the team have to come out the playoffs. So
correct.
We'll
see because all off season, all we heard was Lamar Jackson now has to throw the ball. He has to throw the ball, and if he doesn't throw the ball, the Ravens are going to lose. And I'm like, well, last night I needed him to use his legs a little bit more, but
yeah, it seemed like he was determined to be a pocket passer last night.
And that's the problem. You got to tune out. You got to play your game. You know what I'm saying? You got to play to your strengths, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to put your other teammates in jeopardy. You want, of course, spread the wealth because everybody else has, they want to win too. Yeah. And they have contract incentives and they want to, hit their bonuses and things of that nature. So you want to throw the ball to your wide receivers. You want to get X amount of yards. You want to be able to advance the ball down the field. We get it. But there were times where I'm like, this is not Lamar Jackson football. This is
Yeah.
him listening to Stephen A and listening to Skip and Shannon and them telling him that he needs to do this, and listen to the beat saying that he needs to, become a more pocket passer, or his
Yeah.
longevity as a quarterback is, slim to trim and all these other different things. But needless to say, yeah, that was it was interesting, but it's only one game. Only one
Yeah,
game.
it's only one game. It's only one game. You gotta. Well, I think it's gonna be tough for him because in order for them to get where he wants to go, he has to be able to throw the ball on the outside of the numbers, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It- but then you do also got to win football games to get to the playoffs, so you can have the opportunity to
Correct.
throw the ball outside of the numbers. So they got to find a way to. They got to find a way to do that on the fly, and I don't even know if they got the offensive line for him to be a pocket passer this year. Maybe I don't know, man. And it's crazy because the championship windows in the NFL they close so fast. Like you be
They
like, oh
do.
well,
They do. You have to really capitalize
yeah,
like 1-2 years max, because we'll never see anything like Dallas and Buffalo again.
right,
Like, you remember growing up, like Dallas and Buffalo played each other, what, like 5-6 years?
in a row, yeah,
Like it was, you will never see that again. Like New England even had theirs spaced out,
right.
right? Like, that Super Bowl window is tight.
It is tight. It is tight, man. One minute you think you're on the cusp of you got a young team, and the next thing you know, everybody's shipping out of town. Everybody wants to get paid, and I mean it's just crazy. So we gonna see, man, because I think Baltimore might be in some trouble, and it mainly is because of injuries. I mean, you gotta get lucky
Injuries
with
and
injuries.
injuries and vaccines.
Yeah, that too. Well,
Injuries
well,
and vaccines. Hey, what do you think about all this? Well, not even legislation, but what do you think about these EOs, these executive orders and vaccine mandates that are coming out from companies, from the government, from all areas? Because I think the new standard is any company with over 100 employees, the vaccine is now mandated, right?
yeah. I think a lot of these companies are breathing a sigh of relief that the government stepped in and said that for them because I think the bigger thing isn't necessarily people dying. I do think the loss in productivity is killing a lot of companies though. When you got guys out of work for weeks, 2 weeks at a time, quarantine another 3 or 4 guys or ladies at a job, and I think it's
Hmm.
killing productivity. And I think the government and a lot of these big companies is just like, yo, we can't be productive. And I think honestly, Biden knows that a lot of his success is tied to the economy, and he wants to keep the economy on track. And I
And
think
he
that
does not want to shut it down. I know he wants to shut it down, but he does not want to shut it down. Like
I mean,
it's
it's in nobody's interest
best
for the
interest, right?
economy to shut down. So, and then also it's like if we have the tools for everybody to be productive, go to work, be safe, I got a demand for y'all to take your medicine. So I will. He'll be the bad guy and do it because I guess what I think his calculation is. None of this will matter in 2024 if the economy is good and everybody's working. Like none of
And I don't
this.
even think he's running in 2024. I
Well,
don't
me
think he's
either.
running.
Yeah, me either. But I just think that's the calculation though. The calculation is none of this will matter. Like none of this will matter in 2024 or the end of 2022 when they do the midterms if the economy is on track. If the economy is on track, that's all people care about. Because it seems like now that's really everybody looks at the economy, inflation. That's the only thing that matters. Even though I don't think a president have a lot of control over a lot of these things, but people do. So the perception is the reality now. You know?
Yeah, I would totally agree. So when this came out around the 100 employee mandatory vaccination, I said the same thing. Like, now companies can say, well, it's not me,
Yeah.
it's the president.
Right.
The president said it. Don't take it up with me. But again, it gives them an opportunity to kind of exhale, because like you said, productivity is taking a major hit. People were trying to get, individuals to come back into the office. They were trying to get, people to come back to work because of the unemployment. Everybody's getting unemployment benefits, so they
Right.
really didn't have to, quote unquote, go into work when, they should be paid a livable wage anyway. But
Right.
um case in point, I was out running errands. I forgot to go grocery shopping and needed to go grab some food for the kid. So I went onto the mobile app, went to Zaxby's, and said, okay, I'll go to Publix. Once I leave Publix, I'll go ahead and pick up some Zaxby's, because I already ordered it online. In my mind, when I walk out of Publix, I
Right.
should be able to go right into Zaxby's, get the food, get out. Number
Right.
one, pull up to Zaxby's. The line is around the building. Like
Yeah.
I
Everywhere you
almost thought I
go.
was at Chick-fil-A. Almost
Yeah.
thought I was at Chick-fil-A, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so then I'm like, okay, let me go into the area to the waiting area. I wait in the waiting area like 7 minutes. No one has even acknowledged that I'm there. So I get up, I go inside. And when I go inside, the manager is losing it. Like this one little lady's losing it. And she's like, how can I help you? And I was like, well, I've been waiting for my order. And she's like, I said, I just don't want the food to be cold. Cause I'm like, I've been waiting for a while. I placed it, like 20 minutes ago to make sure it'd be ready when I got here. Now I've been waiting, so on and so forth. And she's like, well, if it's cold, it's cold. I was like, okay, hold on. I was like, hold on. I was like, okay, hold on. I was like, I said, you're having a tough day today, right? And she said, yes, you have no idea. I said, okay, I will take that because I know you're under a lot of stress. She's like, you have no idea. Everybody keeps calling out to work. I only have 4 employees back there. I'm trying to get 2 more to come in. She's like, I was supposed to be gone 3 hours ago. So like seeing it is, you hear about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But, we don't eat fast food like that. So the one time I do go and I actually go here and see this lady losing her mind because people are calling out, not going into work, she's just trying to keep her business afloat.
Yeah.
And I think that's ultimately what everybody's trying to do, but it's so hard. It's so difficult. Like I talked to my friends, they were told to go back to work last month. Then they were told to come in Tuesday through Thursday, telecommute Monday and Friday. Now the offices are shut back down again, right? Everybody's back telecommuting. My kid's been in virtual school since September 1st. She was supposed to go back Monday. She was supposed to go back yesterday, but they sent us a notice over the weekend saying the schools are still shut down and they'll come back next week. And in all honesty, they're not even coming back next week, right? They can't tell us that they're going to shut down for 2 to 3 months because parents are going to lose their mind, right? So there's just a lot of things that are happening that could be easily solved or easily addressed if you got the vaccine, number one. Or number 2, if you wear your mask, wash your hands, and if you are sick, you stay home, you social distance, you stay home and get better.
Right.
And, even recently, you're seeing like the Met Gala, right? I think one of the stipulations that the Met Gala was last night. For you guys who don't know, the Met Gala is a huge fundraising event in New York at the Metropolitan, which is a huge gallery.
Fundraising event.
It is. It's a fundraising event in the name of fashion because the tables alone cost like thousands. I'm telling you, I think the cheapest table is like $50,000.
Yeah, I'm about to say, I thought it was 30,000 or something like that.
Yeah, the tables go all the way up into the 6 figures depending on where you are sitting. But one of the stipulations this year for the Met Gala is you have to be vaccinated. So if you didn't see some of your faves on the red carpet, if you didn't see them with their fashions, then, you can pretty much deduce that they are not vaccinated, right? From, I think certain sporting events now, you have to show your vaccination card. I think we talked about it before. Like if you want to go to certain restaurants in New York, in LA, you actually have to show your vaccination card, right? Booster shots are now available to people. And with all this information out there, with everything that's going on, with people who are dying, anti-vaxxers protesting schools, protesting workplaces, things like that. You still find people, including our favorite celebrities, who are putting misinformation and false, information out there into the world. I think the latest buzz is Nicki Minaj going on Twitter and tweeting something about, people doing their research and don't be bullied into getting the vaccine. And like, it's crazy to me because
we're too far down the road. We're too far down the road on this stuff now. Like and that's what I told my uncle and I told family members when they wanted to talk about this. I'm like, dude, we're too far down the road. We're too, everybody need to stop acting ignorant. We're too far down the road. You know what I'm saying? Like,
correct.
We're creating reasons why we don't want to get the vaccine. All right. So if you don't want to get the vaccine, just shut up and don't get the vaccine. That's where I'm at this point. That's where I'm at. Like if you decide I'm just gonna wash my hands, wear my mask, but I'm not getting the vaccine, go do that. That's within your right. But this ideal of, well, I heard it gives you an STD, or I heard it makes your head bigger, or I heard it gives you a
Yep.
left thumb. Like, dude, we're too far down the road. Like, I've gotten the vaccine. There's nothing wrong with me. I'm perfectly fine walking around the earth, no problem. Not keys not sticking to me, pins are not sticking to me. I'm fine. Like, I just, and then I think now people are using the anti-vax thing just for attention. Like, I don't even
Yes.
know.
It's
I
a
don't think
stick,
it's
right?
yeah.
It's literally to get attention. It's literally to get any type of engagement, anything that will get them their 15 minutes or their 15 seconds at this point,
Right.
right?
Yeah, I mean, even with Nicki Minaj, like
Like
you're
just
Nicki Minaj. You can
she
call
literally
her.
said my cousin in Trinidad won't get the vaccine because his friend got it and became impotent. His testicles became swollen. His friend was weeks away from getting married, and now the girl called off the wedding. So just pray on it and make sure you're comfortable with your decision, not bullied.
What is that?
Like, and the funny thing about it is that people who have COVID, who have contracted COVID, run the men run the highest risk of ED.
Mm,
COVID is a symptom related. I'm sorry, ED is a symptom related to COVID. Like, there
right,
have been men reporting the simple fact that they are no longer able to perform how they were pre-COVID, or they're having issues and now they have to take medication. So for
right,
you to put this misinformation out that your cousin's friend is not getting married anymore because now he's impotent and swollen testicles and all these other things, instead
right,
of really understanding that as an adult he has an STD and he
right.
got caught. Like, I literally thought she was trolling. I thought she was trolling. I seriously, when I saw the tweet, I was waiting for the follow-up LOLs, or
Yeah,
her saying she's dropping another single or something like that.
right, right.
Um,
April Fool's Day.
I was waiting for it, Sam, because I used to be. I wasn't a barb, but I definitely love Nicki Minaj. Like,
Right.
literally, we have the same nickname, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, even in my tweets, I use Nicki Minaj gifs. Like, I was a fan, but she's slowly but sure, no, not even slowly, she's precipitously just doing things at this point that's making me like totally even not even want to say her name. But back to your point that you were saying, like, celebrities, family members, people are putting this misinformation out there and people are still dying.
Yeah. I mean, I just think that, and anyway, people, you shouldn't be taking medical advice from a celebrity anyway. But that's neither here nor there, because I know how people celeb worship, and it's weird to me, it's crazy to me, but I get it.
This
But I
is one of the
mean,
reasons why I'm happy that some of my faves stay off the internet. Like Beyonce, she posts her pictures and she goes,
yeah,
right? She just posts her pictures and she keeps it moving.
yeah,
Chloe and Halle, they drop music, they drop pictures, videos, cute little tweets, they keep it moving.
right,
Like, I'm a huge fan of that. I'm a huge fan of staying in your lane.
right.
And so far the majority of my favorite celebs have been doing that. But
Man, it's just like one of those things, and and even when I go to work, I got people. We got people now. So you got these people now taking horse dewormer. Did you hear about this? The horse
yes,
dewormer people are taking. So
ivermectin,
yeah,
yes.
yeah, ivermectin, and people at the job were talking about it like, yeah, you just taking it and you be fine the next day. Due to the job, I say, so your problem isn't actually with medicine. Your problem is you don't want to take it because you think Democrats created this vaccine to control us.
Correct. To
Yeah,
put the chip in us.
yeah. Like, well, I mean, you can't trust the government. I say, but you trust Joe Rogan? Like,
That's it. That's it.
I
So,
mean,
and just to clarify, I think that's where the message can get lost in translation, because there's ivermectin for animals, there's ivermectin for humans.
right,
The problem we're running into is that humans are taking the ivermectin for animals because they can't get the prescription of the ivermectin for humans.
right.
And that's where, that's literally where the wires are getting crossed, right? Because again, if you go and ask a medical professional, they will break this down for you, right? And I
Right.
think that's where the message gets lost in translation, where people are like, oh, ivermectin helps with COVID, great. I actually have some of that in the barn right now with my horses.
let me ride up here to Tractor Supply. Let me go get some
Like,
out
come
from there.
on, bro. Like, it literally says anything that says on the actual label,
Right,
to not be consumed by humans, do
right.
not ingest, humans should not eat, should not put near their mouth or
Mm,
their eyes.
mm-mm.
Why would
Nope,
I?
nope, nigga. That's your liberal agenda. That's what they telling you, nigga. You're not doing your research. See, they're doing their research.
Yeah, they're doing their research and then they go to Five Guys and get like two, cheeseburgers with, the Cajun fries or something, right? Like, or they'll go and get shit faced and go and drink, and a crazy amount of alcohol or whatever the case may be. And again, I have friends that, are not necessarily anti-vax.
Mhm.
They want to, they not to put, people on Front Street, but they literally have to wait to get the vaccine due to underlying health conditions, right?
Right, right. And I know people like that
Um,
also.
right. But those people, you know what they do? They go to the grocery store, they come home.
Yeah.
They wear their masks. They don't have tons of parties. They don't have
Mhm.
people over. They do what they can in order to control their environment, right?
Right.
And even though they can't take it, they're still encouraging other people to
Mhm.
take it, right?
Yeah.
One of my friends will be getting her first shot next week because she's finally cleared
Mhm.
to get the vaccine, and she's so excited. Like, she's so excited she hasn't even gone outside, and I want to say she's been inside like 3-4 days.
Right.
Like, she went for a walk. She wanted to go for a walk in her neighborhood yesterday,
Mhm.
and as soon as she walks outside, she saw like 2 people coming up, so she went back in the house, and she's like, I know the likelihood of me, contracting it is low, but she's like, I don't even want to risk it. So, I respect that, right? That
Yeah.
shows a level of discipline and concern that, a lot of people are not showing others. But, just a quick scroll on your feed, you'll see, tweets of stories of people who are anti-vaxxers, and the very next tweet says, they recently passed away because they contracted COVID, or
Yeah.
whatever the case may
And
be. But
it's sad because you got people leaving kids behind, leaving
kids,
families behind, and
special needs kids, right? Like, who's
yeah.
going to now take care of them? And now they have to go into the system, and it's
And the
man,
one thing I always say,
heavy.
we don't have to like a politician or whatever religious or whatever you got going on doesn't have to affect your critical thinking. It
It
doesn't have
doesn't.
to it doesn't have to affect your critical thinking. That's my biggest thing. Like, people, you're jumping over too many hurdles with this. You know what I'm
Right,
saying? Like,
right.
if you can just acknowledge that COVID is real, acknowledge that it's killing people, then you can say, okay, it's real. So now what should I do about it? And there are your options:
Yep.
a mask, a shot. These are options. Stay away from people. Stay away from crowds. I know me and you talked about, you asked me about the football game. I'm like, I'm not gonna go to the football game.
Right.
I can't be passing COVID around to my peoples. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just a sacrifice I gotta make. And it's nothing hard about that. Like, I just, people keep making, well, it should have never became political. Okay, it's not political. Don't talk about it as being politics.
Then
What's
don't talk about it in that
yeah,
realm, right? Don't
right,
talk about it in the political realm.
right. I mean, I don't need
These
Joe
are
Biden.
easy fixes.
Very easy. Like, stop blaming it on politics. This is us. This is all of us, people. I mean, we're all in this together. So it's just weird. It's I don't know, man. I hate to say, I don't feel like we're gonna deal with COVID forever. I do feel like we're gonna have some type of strand of COVID that always gonna exist, but I
Yeah,
don't know.
it's a coronavirus, right? So it's
Right.
going to be around. Like, people keep saying, I want COVID to be over. I want COVID to go away. It's never going
Yeah.
away. You're
Yeah.
going to have to get an annual shot, just like you do the flu shot. So,
hmm
and it'll be optional, just like the flu shot is optional, right?
Right. But I do think these big companies and the federal government can't keep running like with 20% of their workforce out at a
Yeah.
time. They just can't. It's like they can't sustain like that. I mean, and people don't want to hear that. But at the end of the day, that's really what this is about. This is about these big businesses saying, dude, I got to quarantine 6 people when one person gets sick. I got to quarantine another 10 people when 2 people get sick. Like, they can't,
Yep.
then they get under these lawsuits where you didn't tell me he got sick, now I'm going to sue. Like, no business is going to run like
Nobody
that.
wants that liability.
Yeah, no business is running like that. So they can do whatever they want to. People can get upset about it. And I told, like, somebody was at my job complaining about it. I'm like, dude, a company doesn't work for you. You work for the company.
Correct.
And it's always been that way, and it's always
Correct.
gonna be that way. You know what I'm saying? So, and I always say this to people, like, what role do y'all want the federal government to play in y'all lives? Like, what role do you think
When
the
it's
federal government?
convenient.
Is it just somebody? Is it just? Do you just need the federal government so you can blame everything on? Is that all you want the
Yeah,
federal government
the
to do?
federal government is just when it's convenient for them. That's when they want to be in alignment with the government, right?
Right.
That's when basically the people are really frustrated because they're like, well, socialism's next. And if they're mandating the vaccine, and what are they going to mandate next? And I'm kind of like, I mean, honestly, the government is not necessarily always making the right decisions,
No, it's
right?
not. No.
And I think when people, rail on the government, there's something that's happened to them, or there's something that, through
They
their life.
blame. Right.
Correct. Exactly. That in their experience lends them to believe that government is bad. And I am 50-50 on government, right? If there's
Right.
a natural disaster, if there's something, an act of God that happens or occurs, I believe our government should step in and help people to, recover
Mm-hmm.
and to regroup, right? I am not necessarily all in when the government is like, there are weapons of mass destruction over there. We got to go over there and bomb it. Like,
Right.
right? Like this, it's 6 in one hand, half a dozen in the other. That's what my mom used to say. God bless the dead. But it's like
Right.
it's a 50-50, right? So ultimately, my belief is this vaccine was placed here in order to help us to move past this initial phase of COVID, and the research is going to continue to be done to improve the vaccine, just how all other vaccines have been created. And at this point, this mandatory provision that's out there now, I am hoping that we will see an uptick. But I will say the one positive that's come from this prior to the mandate was that when Delta was coming in and picking up a triple double,
Right.
and taking folks out of here, vaccination shot up, like
Right.
literally skyrocketed.
Right.
In many places that was very low. So that was encouraging to me to see that people are like, okay, wait, more people are dying
Yeah.
than last year with this one variant. Okay, cool. Let me go ahead and sign up. So very encouraged by that. Also had a lot of friends who were trying new diet supplements, new vitamins in, along with getting their vaccine, living healthier lifestyles,
Right.
Things of that nature. So I'm very encouraged by some of the things we're seeing, especially in the Black community, as well with people now getting their vaccine and changing their healthy living habits. So
Yep. And that's all good. That's all good.
all good stuff. I know that they're saying that most women are leading the charge in reference to being vaccinated because girls run the world. Girls run the world.
Yeah,
So
women tend to go to the doctor a little bit more than men. Tend to take their health a little bit more serious than men
a
do.
little bit more attentive in certain instances. But while we're talking about women, shifting gears here for our what's next segment, right? Speaking of
Right.
women, and the amazing individuals that we are, the amazing creatures that we are. There was some dialogue around women shooting their shot, right? We hear all day, every day about, how men are going out and asking women to be their girlfriends and doing like the girlfriend proposal thing, things of that nature. But one of the things that I'm encouraged to see or hear about is, women sharing their stats. And I am doing the air quotes, their stats around shooting your shot. And one of the things that I think jumped out was that that I think we both read was women have a 99% success rate when they shoot their shot, right?
I can imagine, yeah.
So for all intents and purposes, Sam, how do you know when a woman is shooting their shot? Like in your experience, how did you know a woman was like, hey, I'm interested, or hey, I'm digging you?
It is interesting. Okay, younger women, when you're younger, women, in my opinion, don't shoot their shot like that, right? Something about women, once they turn 35, they become a little bit more aggressive, right? So they would definitely let you know what time it is and what time it is, when it's time, and where to be at. Women are a little
Mm-hmm.
bit more aggressive the older they get, I think. And I don't know if that's like a biological clock, or are they done with the kitty games, or um. But for the most part, I think women do it by taking pictures. That's what I think.
A
That's what
hundred,
I
a
think.
100%, 100%, 100%. Um, so when you say taking pictures, what do you mean by taking
When you
pictures?
just get that random picture and you're at work, or you wake up early in the morning, you just like you pull the crust out your eyes, and then you got like a half naked woman in your phone that sent you a picture. You're like, oh, so she likes me. normally
Okay,
that's
so
normally that's how that
what
happens.
if so this picture thing. So what if I don't? What if you never exchange any type of media? Like maybe we've interacted on Facebook or Instagram or
Hmm.
Twitter or TikTok, some social media medium. We've interacted, and then like do has anyone just like literally sent a picture on Twitter or on any type of platform, and you're like, I know that's for me.
No, I've never. No, so I've never. I no, I don't think I've ever had that happen. No, no, I haven't. No, I'm thinking
That's
hard. I'm
funny.
thinking
That's
hard
funny.
because I feel like I have, but I don't think so though. I don't think so. Like, so this is one thing about me, Nikki. I'm gonna be real with you. I don't think any woman is exclusively mine, right? So my ego is not built up in that way where I'm like, oh, that's for me. You know what I'm saying? I just imagine women talk to just as many people as men talk to when they're single.
You smart. You so smart.
Right. so so
You a
so,
genius.
so unless a woman, like, let's say we have sex, right, and unless she start exclusively trying to be around me all the time, I just imagine she's single, she's doing single things. That's
Okay.
if that makes sense, right?
It makes sense.
Right, because you don't want to assume, you don't want to be stating flags on things, and people be like, dog, I don't know if this really,
Mm.
you don't really know if that's really what you think it is. You know what I'm saying? So
Right, right.
I don't assume anything until a woman tell me. So that's me though. That's me. But I know a lot of guys that do. They be like, oh, well, I know she liked me because she brought me lunch. She dropped me off. She dropped me off some cash out money for a haircut. I be like, I think
That's
it's kind of,
true though.
that is
That's true.
true.
All jokes aside. So, like some of the ways that women will show that they like you is some of the same ways that men will, right? Like
Right,
if they hit your cash app for, food, if they ask you, specifically about your day, like, and they want to listen and hear without saying, "Oh, well, my day was da 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 da," right?
right,
Because literally, a lot of women, even my girlfriends, they'll be like, "Well, what you do today, or how was your day?" And I'm like, "Oh, it was cool. I did this and this," and they'll go right into what their day
right,
was.
right.
But if a woman asks you about your day and wants you to elaborate and doesn't go into what she has done or will do or have to do, then she likes you. She definitely likes you.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Um,
true. But you know what though? I have so it's, I don't know, because you got some women that are very self-involved people, right? They be like, it's always about how you make them feel, what you do for them that makes them like you.
Correct.
So I can honestly say I think I've only met two women that have been unselfish
That have been
women,
giving of themselves.
giving of themselves, you know what I'm saying, and not requiring a lot. So it makes you want to do a little bit more for them. But man, the dating game is ugly out here, man. It's ugly. It's disgusting out here, Nikki.
Oh, so, not
It's
disgusting.
disgusting out here. You know,
Not disgusting.
it's ugly out here.
I will also say, a lot of times we do have different ways of shooting our shot. So some ways are effective, some ways are definitely not effective, but it's
Hmm.
all subjective, right? Because it depends on who your target is,
Right.
right? So one of the things that I love to do with my girlfriends is when they tell me that they met someone or whatever the case may be, I ask them 3 questions about the guy, right?
Right.
And a lot of times they can't answer them because they've already built this person in their mind
Yeah. They
versus
they've created the person's persona.
correct.
Right. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
So they can't answer the question. So the first thing I'll say is, do they like coffee?
Right.
right? Do they like, what books are they reading, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like some questions like that, because once you get to know that, like, no, I don't really do coffee, or I do tea, or blah 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 blah, right?
Right.
Number one, that gets them talking and engaging, right? And then on top of that, it also gets them in the motion or in the notion of like, oh wow, she
She
cares,
might.
she wants to know, like,
Yeah.
yeah, right,
This is
like
not gonna be
you're
transactional. This may not be transactional,
this
right?
may not be transactional. There's
Right.
still a chance it might be, but it might not be. But it might not be, right?
Right.
But based on that, I'll say, okay, we'll do the whole scrolling of their social media. Okay, his favorite color is orange.
Hmm.
Throw on this orange, take this
Wow.
picture,
Wow. You
right?
know what?
And
That's
I'm
right. Women,
telling you, and I may
women,
be
women are
violating girl
detectives.
code.
Women are
I may
detectives. Go ahead. Continue. Let me
I
write
may
this
be
down.
violating girl code,
Let
right?
me get me a sheet of paper here. Go ahead now. I'll start from the top. So, so favorite colors,
Let's start
social
from the
media.
top. But there's different ways of doing it, right? I think ultimately, you got to feel people out. There has to be some type of mutual attraction as well,
Mhm.
right? Like I've seen people literally fumble the bag just because they get too aggressive, and I'm speaking about women, right? Like,
Women get into aggressive form of the bag. I would think that'd be a huge turn on.
so yes, there's an art to it. There's a science to it, right?
Hmm.
Um, and then sometimes, some people really, not being funny, they just don't have a lot of male interaction,
Right.
right? There's a lot of women that don't have true male interaction. Like one of my homeboys that's a trainer, he would tell me a lot of times that, a lot of the women he trained would be more aggressive. Like he would give them a compliment, like, oh, you look nice. We're starting to see some of the work show up, right? Like
Hmm.
we're seeing the changes in your body, and the women would go all in. And he had to realize, like, I'm the only male interaction that they may get in their lives,
Right.
right?
Right. Right.
As their trainer, right? Because they may not have, any male best friends, or they may not have, any coworkers that they connect with or work with directly, any males. So
Right.
he had to literally start putting up boundaries, right?
Hmm.
Because, he didn't want to disrespect the whole client trainer, relationship. So, that made me think too, like, wow, that's really weird. It's sometimes, well, not even weird, but that's unfortunate that some women don't have that true male interaction, and once they get it, they don't know what to do with it, right?
So you're saying that women. So you saying that women feel like any type of male interaction means, oh, that guy just wants to sleep with me? Are you saying that
Or
that's
he's
how?
attracted to me, or he wants to holler at me, or he's trying to talk to me, or he's trying to get at
Okay.
me,
Okay.
right?
I got you.
Like I have friends that um um play these false scenarios in their mind.
Women are lunatics, so that's
Right.
surprising.
Like, oh my God, we just saw so and so. He's so attractive. He had on this badass outfit, yada yada. And they'll be like, I'm gonna see him on Thursday and he better not talk to me. And it's like, how do we get here? We just said we saw so and so, right? Like, they're
Right.
playing these whole things and scenarios, building that persona and interaction in their mind, right?
So,
So a lot of times a guy may say, oh my God, you look really nice today. And it
mhm,
may just be, you look really nice today,
right,
right? Or it may be him planting that seed to eventually ask you out.
right,
But I'm very big on people making it plain, right? If there's any type of interest you're trying to show in me, you have to say it. Like, I want you to use your big boy words.
right,
Let's go ahead and vocalize that, right? Because until you say it, these are just compliments. Until you say it, you are just the homie. You're just the
right,
friend,
right.
right?
Well,
Um,
my
but
theory is
tell
it
me,
does. My theory is it doesn't matter what somebody say, long as you're attracted to them, right? So it's like that picture of the fat dude, like that's harassment, but the other dude look like
the dude that's
more,
a more if the
more
if the if the unattractive guy comes and says, "Oh, you look nice today," it's like, "Oh my God, get
yeah,
away!"
that's harassment. But if he look like Morris Chestnut, then that's flirting, right? It's like
Right. But that goes back to consent and recognizing boundaries too, right?
right,
Like, because men will tell you all the time, well, this is my preference. This type of woman is my preference. Okay,
right,
cool. We can have a preference too.
right.
Right?
That's true. Yeah,
If,
that's
if
true.
we're if we're gonna use that line, then let's be
Hmm.
consistent in it, right? But it goes back to mutual attraction. And sometimes women do out, sometimes women can outkick their coverage, and a lot of times, sometimes some women can shoot their sights too high.
So
Um,
while we're on women being lunatics,
Not being lunatics.
why is it that when a woman actually likes a man and that man like asks her to be, his her,
Exclusive.
exclusive,
Hmm.
right? Why does she then get suspicious of him and what type of man he could possibly be?
That's a good question because if I wasn't suspicious before, but now that we're together, now everything, I'm
Yeah,
Inspector
like
Gadget now, right?
why does who calls my phone at what time? Why does that matter so much now? Why when my phone goes off, you go off? Why is like the
We're
phone
picking
go
up
off,
on
you pick up?
patterns. We're picking up on patterns. I'm being totally honest here.
Okay.
So if we've been kicking it and we've gone out or whatever the case may be, I'm picking up on your patterns because at this time we've probably hung together during the daytime, we've
Hmm.
hung together during the afternoon, evening, in the night. We've
Right.
probably had sleepovers by this time.
Grown up sleepovers.
Um, yeah. We love sleepovers. Um, we've seen you in different phases
Uh-huh.
of weekends, working during the week. If you happen to be a single father or if you happen to be totally single, no true obligations. We've seen you operate and we've seen you work in different times and phases, right?
Hmm.
So if you and I tend to stop getting phone calls after 10 o'clock at night,
Hmm.
and now we watching movies and it's 11:30 and the phone is going off, whether it's a text, a phone call, or whatever,
Right.
and it's lighting up, that's like a ding, like, okay, hold on.
Right.
That's not normal,
Mm.
right? Um, or if you and I talk all day, every day, or we text all day, every day, and then I don't hear from you for like 3 hours and with no real explanation,
Anything could be happening.
right? Right? Anything could be happening. And I think that peaked even last year. It peaked even more last year, right? Because of COVID, because we're forced to spend time with each other, right?
Yeah. Sorry about that.
So now I picked up on your habits even more,
Right.
right? I picked up on all your idiosyncrasies. I picked up on all your eccentricities, all these different things that are out there. I've picked up on them. And now I'm kind of like, okay, that's not normal. That's outside of your pattern. So what's going on? Right? Because as humans, we are creatures of habit. We are creatures of habit.
So
That's it.
any type of anything that's like, I guess it's like the Matrix, right? If you see two black cats, then maybe there's something going on with the Matrix. Like
There's a glitch in the matrix. Honestly, truly. Um,
it just can't be life.
so
Life can't be life, and it's just it gotta be a
this is
glitch in the
not
Matrix.
it. That literally, this is not it.
It's a
Now, I
glitch.
will tell you, I am one that appreciates my time and my space.
Right.
So, if I don't hear from you for 3 hours, I may be a little concerned. I'll just be like, hey, just let me know you're okay.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I'm that person where I'm like, please, no, go out with your LBs tonight.
Right.
Like, I'll see you when you get home. Like, like I am very big on space
Right.
because you were a whole human before me with friends and family and things.
Right.
And you're going to be one after me, and you need to continue to keep, those relationships and whatnot. But I'm also one of those things where I just make a mental note, right? Like, oh, we do this on Tuesday nights now. Okay,
Right.
cool.
Right.
Right? Like, because
Yeah.
now I'm noticing patterns and things. But
But you would think though, if you become exclusive with somebody, then that person's pattern has now changed, right? So now they're spending time with you. So then they got to replace. They got certain patterns they got to come up with. Now they got new patterns. I mean, it's just life.
so that's the thing though. Even if we're exclusive at this point, right?
So you
Not putting
expect. So,
anybody on Front Street, but how many of our friends are exclusive with their significant others, but we know they are
oh, so we doing
they
that?
got
Okay.
this secret link, right?
Okay. Okay.
And not look, we're all grown, we're all adults,
No,
and I pray
I get
I
what you're
pray that
saying.
everybody is consenting in these interactions, right? In full disclosure, knowing what they're getting into.
Right.
But just because we're exclusive does not necessarily mean that you're 100% faithful. We're putting hope and faith that because we're exclusive, that is the case, right?
Right. It's just something I wonder. I was talking to somebody, and they started asking me a bunch of questions about a lot of things. I'm like, damn. I said she must really like me now because she really wants to know
She
everything I got going
really
on.
likes you. Really likes you. And then we get possessive as well, right? Like men are very territorial.
Right.
right? Like you guys will mark your territory and will literally be like, "Don't touch it, that's mine," right?
That's true.
Um,
That's
women
true.
were like that too. A lot of times we're more subtle, but I
Hmm.
will tell you if the classiest way I can say that is if you're checking a lot of boxes on my list,
Right.
I don't want you checking off no other boxes anywhere else. If we're going down my list of, non-negotiables, my non-debatables, whatever the case may be,
Right.
then I would not want you to be checking these boxes for other people. Like, there's a lot of fish in the sea, but
Understood.
this one fish, this one is mine.
I
This
caught
one
this
is
fish.
mine.
I reeled this fish in. This is my
I
fish.
I cultivated and manifested this fish. Don't touch my fish.
So how
So
does
no,
a
but
man? How does a man supposed to navigate this craziness? How does a man navigate this craziness? Does he just like
massive amounts of communication. And I know
massive
it sounds,
amounts?
I know, and you think I'm playing when I say that, but
Right. Right.
I literally am saying massive amounts of communication because even, in relationships prior, I traveled a lot for work prior to COVID, right?
Right.
So I'd be like, hey, I'm going to this city. I am staying at this hotel. I will call you when I get there. This is what I have planned. I am going to dinner with my girlfriend XYZ. Like
Right.
I would overshare because that builds a level of confidence, right?
Right.
But now because I overshare, I have to be consistent,
Right.
right? I can't overshare that much and then go back into my hole and be like, well, why you worry about where I was at?
Yeah. What's that all about?
Right?
Yeah.
Um, but I would do that almost ad nauseum because at that point it's kind of like, okay, cool, I know where you at. Like,
Yeah.
all right, cool, you just text me when you land or whatever the case may be, right?
Right.
But also the understanding and the trust of if I'm said I'm going to this place, I'm actually at this place,
Mm.
right?
Okay.
I'm not big on sharing locations or anything like that, but I am now more respectful of opening up my life to others, right? Meaning sharing, hey, I'm involved in this organization. This organization has meetings the third Tuesday of every month, and we meet here and do that. Oh, I have a new
Right.
opportunity to work with this client. This client was a referral from so and so, and this is what we're going to be working on, right? Like opening
Right.
up my world to say, hey, this is what I'm doing. So you're not as suspicious or you're not as concerned of my whereabouts. I found that has worked massively for me,
Right.
to be able to share, my space, my world with other people. Because before it's kind of like, I'm my own person. If I go over here, that shouldn't concern you or bother you, right?
Right. Right. I'm
But
a
then I
grown
also
up.
understand it also looks secretive too, though, right? It could look like
Right.
I'm hiding something. Like if I'm just going to a board meeting for this organization, why can't I say that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That. Those are all great points. I think I'm going to use those in the future. Um, Great
Hopefully
points.
hopefully in the near future.
Hopefully, in the near future, I'll be
Um,
using those points.
but no, I am very big on that, right? Like I just find that I have to find ways to be better and more communicative, whereas, everybody doesn't necessarily subscribe to that same thing. But you got to do what works for your relationship. You got to do what works for you. But
It is true.
it's just funny the whole thing of women shooting their shot, and then once they land it, now everything is a question. Where you going? What time you gonna be back?
That's funny.
Text me when you look. Text me. Let me know when you get there. Text me when
Yeah.
you let me know when you leave.
Yeah.
Like just who's calling you at 11 o'clock at night?
Yeah.
Wait, who's calling you at 9 o'clock in the morning? And
Oh, that's your mama? What she want? I mean,
right,
okay.
tell her I said hello. Hi. Like then you just start making all kind of random noises in the
Yeah,
background.
just like what's going on?
Right? You start
Like,
asking random questions. You like your egg scramble? You know I like my egg scramble. Why you in
Yeah.
here talking? Like
it's like let's control the crazy. Let's bring the crazy down a couple notches. Just bring the crazy
right,
down. But
right.
but thank
But
you for
no,
explaining that to me. Thank you for
I
explaining that
anything
to
I
me.
can do to help. I'm trying to help. I want people to put up some W's, man. We gotta put up W's in any way possible,
Cuffing
man.
season is around the corner.
You know what, man? I'll save that for another day.
Okay.
I almost said words, but I'm going to bring them back in. But you got anything else before we get out of here?
No, no, no. I want you to have a great weekend. Do you got another watch party going on this weekend?
We do. We have another one. If you're in the Atlanta area, we'll be at Dr. Scofflaw at Chattahoochee Food Works on Saturday. I believe it's a 3:30 start. We encourage you to get out there early for parking. And of course, festivities. We will have raffles. We will have giveaways, things of that nature. So we encourage you to come out and still support your Florida State Seminoles.
Hey, and
during the
y'all should
season.
have a collection plate going around. We're not saying refine anybody. We're just saying get a collection plate going
We're just saying
around.
it's
A
always
building
good to have
funds.
a nice stash.
Yeah.
Good
Start
to
the
have a
fish
nice
fry. We got to
stash.
get the fish fry going, get the lemonade stand going. You know what I'm saying?
Got to do what we can. And the latest episode of Listen Up podcast came out. Was that yesterday?
Today, well,
Today.
when his pod drops, it'll be yesterday. Yeah.
Yes. So the latest Listen Up podcast dropped on Monday. Check that out. Along with a couple of other insights here. We'll have other guests coming on that will be able to share their feedback, insights into this football season, and otherwise navigating this crazy life. But Sam,
Exactly.
I know the Jags have a game. I will be praying your strength. It's going to be another tough weekend, friend.
It is rough. I make my son watch, and he's upset with me. Maybe I need to give him a break also.
We got to pick up some new hobbies on the weekend now to distract us.
Really start hitting putt hard Saturday afternoons and Sundays afternoons. Really hit the putt.
Let's do it. Mental health matters.
Protect yourselves out there, people.
Yes, please make sure that you tap in with yourself. Make sure that you are well. Don't let football get you down. But thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of What's Up, What's Next, where we talk about things that matter today that you won't even remember tomorrow.
Yo.